Hello guys and welcome to SteveKnows. I am going to show off some of the version 28 features such as the Airlink 120Hz, the keyboard mapping and the desk. I've had some issues, these are definitely experimental features, and we also got some nice cheeky information from Carmack after him and Bosworth did an interview together, and it's such a goldmine of information. We've also got new games coming soon, a new avatar system, there is so much here. So enough chin wagging, let's get started. So let's start this off with the version 28 update. The Airlink is now here in a strange turn of events where a hack was posted on Reddit. So we were able to sideload some stuff, adjust the resources of the Oculus desktop application, and we were able to enable the Airlink feature. But then something quite funny happened that Bosworth came out and posted on Twitter saying, like, since you're all loving it so much and talking about it, we're going to release all of these little features early. Because the version 25 update came out, and for some reason, it didn't have any of the features that we were expecting. It was kind of dead, and I was scratching my head like, what's going on? But they're here. So if you're like me, you should go to your settings and check if you have an update available. Once you have this update, you'll see 120Hz, keyboard tracking, and desk tracking in the experimental features, but I could not find Airlink. So the process you see here may be slightly different, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be identical nearly. So to activate the Airlink, go to the desktop software, make sure you're on version 28, go to beta, and enable the Airlink. Oculus, they do recommend having a dedicated router in your room for this for the best experience, but it does work on your Wi-Fi as well, but I'll be using a dedicated router for the best possible experience here. And if you're following this instruction, you're having issues, me and Mystical had a good head scratcher last night, and we discovered that some of the Oculus Link debug settings that you may have used when using the original Oculus Link causes issues for the Airlink. So ensure that you have your bitrate turned down. In the debug tool, set it to 0, and also make sure that your drivers are updated on your graphics card. This should fix a lot of issues you may have been experiencing if using the Airlink. So then I go to the Airlink connector. This is an application that I sideloaded, and this will scan my network and look for anything that's got the Airlink enabled on it so that I can connect to it and start using it. So let's move on and go see what's happening inside the headset. So I don't have the Airlink option yet, so what I've done is I've sideloaded the application so you guys can see it. So if I go to unknown sources, Airlink connector, and I should have a list of all the available machines. Sweet, click desktop. You can see that I'm in the Oculus Home, you can see the headroom that I've got, the delay that we're experiencing, which is 50. Carmack recommends 20 for virtual reality, but it sounds high because that's comparable to virtual desktop, but again, it's actually, you wouldn't know. You really wouldn't know. It is super, super clean. And from here, you can also go to Steam. But before that, if you click this kind of goggle in the top left corner, that's going to open up your Airlink option menu, which is here. So we've got dynamic, so it can change the kind of the bit rate to maximize performance as we're going, but you can also set it to fixed if you want to, maintain the settings that you set, and then you can adjust it to max out 200 megabits. So you can have the best quality of wireless experience, but you may experience, more GPU usage, more frame drops. There's always that risk. So you can also go from Steam in here. So if you go to Steam VR, we'll take us to the Steam home. I did this yesterday, it was no problems, but today it's playing up. I've got tons of headroom, but I'm getting lots and lots of delay. So in the Oculus Home, it seems to be pretty stable, but here, yesterday it was stable for some reason, now it's not, and I've got the exact same setup. I don't know if that's on purpose because this is Steam and Oculus, and there was an update, and previously I didn't have the update, and now I've got it, and now I'm having this kind of performance in Steam VR, which is potentially interesting. A slight delay. Look, it's now at 67. I do feel one. So the Oculus Home seems to be, the performance is pretty stable, but here in Steam, it seems to have dropped from yesterday after I've got that update. Let me know if you're experiencing that as well. There's a slight delay. I wouldn't say this is playable. You couldn't play Beat Saber with this. So I've got the K830 keyboard there. It's on my desk. Let's just rearrange this. And if we go to settings, tracked keyboard. See your Bluetooth connected keyboard in VR. There it is. Can you see that? My Logitech K830. There it is. So it's on my desk. There's my mouse. I can adjust the contrast using this. Oh, it's not the best though. This is the problem I've got. When you connect things via Bluetooth, the performance seems to degrade. What about if I press buttons? Hey, look at that. Hey, buttons are being pressed. So there it is. It's connected. Performance not so great. If you move it around, it doesn't like that at all. It doesn't like the moving around. I suppose if I get an angle, it can't map anymore, and it just kind of moves out. But if you're on a desk, and this is just sat there on the desk, you can just type, can't you? Hey, there it is. And you can. But your hands become pass-through. Not the clearest, I must say. This is very temperamental, clearly. The performance is not that great. I've got to pick the keyboard up, and then you can see it. If I pick it up, you can see it, and my fingers become pass-through. How interesting. And you can kind of see the keyboard coming through a bit as I move it. So, early days. Definitely an experimental feature. 100% experimental. And of course the other feature is the ability to create a desk. So my desk is right here. My K830 keyboard is right there. Oh look, space brought out the menu. Okay, so here's the desk. I've got the keyboard on the desk as well. Let's move the mouse around a bit. Nothing. I'm not getting anything from it. There we go. If I pick it up, it kind of registers. But when it's down on the desk, there we go. If I look up, typing, then I look a bit down. Hi there. How art thou? And I like that you can see my fingers. This is actually kind of cool, but it's very temperamental. Look at that. It's gone again. I captured the footage of Racket Fury, and of course, the capture on the Oculus Quest isn't 90Hz or 120Hz. It's around 24 frames a second, so it's hard to see. So I've slowed it down 10 times, 90 on the left and 120 on the right. So you can see the draw rate much, much easier. And you can see that it's just slightly got the edge on the right. And honestly, when playing this in the headset, it was actually noticeable. It was such an improvement. I can't wait to see this on some faster paced titles. It's got Airlink problems, but if you reduce the bitrate, that did help with Steam. For me, I reduced the bitrate and Steam wasn't as intense, but I tried this last night before, and Steam's performance was so much better than Oculus. So I'm a little confused as to why this is now happening. It's a bit of a head scratcher. Is it done on purpose? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below, what you think of version 28 so far. Let's talk about games. A new game coming to the Oculus Quest and PC VR. And this wasn't in the recent showcase. So many games weren't in the recent showcase. This is Rainbow Reactor Fusion. This is a puzzle game, much like what we've seen on our mobile app store before, you know, color matching, those kind of puzzlers. You have to align colors, and if you align them, you get more points. We've already seen a game like this in Puzzle Bubble, which is coming to the Oculus Quest in May, where you have to match coloured bubbles to get a high score. And this game is from Tunamax, and you've got to throw coloured paint onto a grid to try and match colours. Matching larger areas of the colours will give you a higher score, but then the game isn't just that, thankfully. But that is the main core part of this title, that is Rainbow Reactor. But this is a VR title, this is the Fusion version. So in between these tasks, you will partake in a single player campaign with additional tasks such as cleaning up the lab, restoring power to certain parts of the laboratory, other smaller objectives, which is a nice touch. But it's also kind of impractical if they've got a party mode where you and a friend can play locally together, but you have to keep swapping the headset to play. So if you've got an Elite strap, that is not convenient. And it's kind of a pain, you know, taking it off your hat, giving it to a friend, then putting it on. But it's a nice touch. And I think listening to what this game has to offer, there's enough difference there for you to dive in and try this puzzler, even though it's a kind of, the core part of the game is something that you've played before. But I've not played it, so I don't know exactly, but I will try it and I'll let you guys know. Now, this part, it is always super interesting to have a read or a listen of the conversations between the legend that is John Carmack and the current VP of Facebook Reality Labs, Andrew Bosworth. And they were talking about the Quest Pro, the potential metaverse, what next-gen VR looks like. There is just so much here in this interview that I want to share it with you. Because the information that they're going to be talking about is based on their experience at Oculus and things that they actually know that are happening in R&D. I am going to be paraphrasing. So starting off the Airlink, they stated it was going to start off as a $200 dongle that you can connect your headset to try and create a really good experience. But Carmack then said himself that Guy Godin's effort help, assist, and prove that a wireless connection using a Wi-Fi router can deliver value to the customer. So they became more aligned to the idea of using a Wi-Fi hub as the wireless solution for people in their homes. They also said that they may release a dongle in the future that can improve the performance of the wireless connectivity, which I'm sure many of us will welcome with open arms if we can reduce that latency even further. Bosworth also said that the Oculus Quest 1 is still very, very much going to be supported. He said it with such conviction that I was actually convinced what he was saying was true. And because there was recent release of a Quest 2 exclusive or announcement story, that I was kind of worried that Quest 1 may be falling to the sidelines. But the way he said this, it seems like, don't worry, the Quest 1 is still going to get these features, just like they have with the new version 28 update. You know, Quest 1 is still supported. He also confirmed once again that Quest 3 doesn't exist, but says a Quest Pro would be more likely, which I'll touch on more in a second. So first of all, let's talk about Carmack and his thoughts on creating a virtual reality metaverse, because we want the Oasis, Ready Player One style, we're into that. But he said he doesn't like the idea of people attempting to make a metaverse, because when you try to make all things, you end up not being very good at anything. So he wants an organic approach to a metaverse, perhaps a game that does really well and the game can then grow and expand to become one. That's the approach that he wants to take, not forcing it upon people and creating a mediocre product. They then move on to the next generation of VR, their thoughts and idea of this, and this is where Carmack lists off features that Bosworth, I believe, wants in his next gen headset. And from what Carmack then says, it sounds like this is what they've been discussing and could be what we can expect in the next generation of VR headsets. He says that he wants a mixed reality camera, face tracking, eye tracking, and depth cameras. I believe this is what Bosworth wants to implement, but Carmack said that he just wants to continue improving the existing setup, making it lighter, cheaper, more ergonomic, a high resolution, better battery life, small improvements that can improve the already decent existing VR setup. And I can see benefits in both directions. We want new features, but we also want a really good foundation that we can build upon before we start adding all of these kind of crazy features. So which direction is it going to go? Because, you know, the track record shows that Carmack, you should listen to this guy. But let me know what you want. Do you want new features or do you want small incremental improvements over the existing setup? Another interesting highlight, I know I'm just kind of breaking down the interview now, but there was just so much said. They also spoke about the steps, about some new implementation, some new software implementation that Oculus can create across all games that will reduce motion sickness. So Carmack, he has this idea of where software can be made aware of the depth of assets inside the game within your peripheral vision or in front of you, and be able to mask those assets that are causing you discomfort. His example was like in Population 1, the sky in the distance. When you're running around, it's really far away. That's not causing you any discomfort, but the comfort settings of the game will still mask that out still and give you this tunnel vision. So they want a solution that can be applied across all games. So we have this kind of blanket solution. It's going to be the same for every title, not a specific unique implementation that the developers put in, where if something is close, it can mask out without affecting assets that are in the distance. So you can still be really immersive, but without that feeling of discomfort. A new interesting take on this one as well, that Oculus, apparently, they have plans to release a cheaper headset that is not going to contain the touch controllers. So it was just going to be the standalone device on its own that can be used for things like productivity, and they can use the hand tracking to navigate menus, but with the option to get the controllers if they want them at a later date. This is supposed to be due to Infinite Office and the push on VR productivity, where you don't need touch controllers. You can use your keyboard, which I've showed you earlier in the video, and mouse in the headset, although it doesn't work that great at the moment. And with the device, if it's costing around £200 or £230, it's going to be extremely competitive for these kind of Chromebooks, these portable computers for you to do work on. Because not only will you save money, you're going to have the ability to have huge monitors in virtual reality and make use of the tooling that Oculus are going to provide for their VR applications. It's a tough one. Is this the future that we're going to get? All of these devices are all going to be, you know, VR or AR headsets? I hope so. And a nice touching one though, Carmack did say that he's glad that Vive exists. They provide services and products that Oculus do not have. He said the world is actually better because of Vive. Such as the trackers, he said that Oculus would take years to catch up and be able to implement that kind of technology to be able to compete with them. So it sounds like that side of things, it may not be on the priority list for Oculus, which is kind of sad. So I don't predict Oculus to be doing full body tracking anytime soon. And maybe that's where Vive can actually push their standalone device that hopefully we hear about at the start of May. That could be their niche. A new feature that's just rolled out is the new Facebook avatars. You now have more avatars to create. You may think, yes, less floaty bodies, it's going to be more engaging, happy days, it's going to add more presence, but these new avatars, although they have legs, currently in game, it's just from the waist up. They're still very animated looking, and you can start using these avatars in games such as Pro Putt PokerStars and the roller coaster game right now, according to the Oculus blog. And there is this new avatar editor, And there are so many options. You can create apparently quintillion different combinations based on all of these assets, so you can be truly unique online. So we have the new avatar system. Here it is, create an avatar that feels like you. New avatars now, more customization options, so it's even easier to create one that looks and feels like you. So let's create one. Go to create avatar. Sweet, and here we go. We got the pear-shaped man. So let's change body. So this is kind of crazy. Look, you have all of these options: skin tone, hair, shape, face lines, eyelashes. You can even get like the Morgan Freeman dots on your face if you so wanted. Stick some freckles on there, which is just nuts. Oh, so you can choose whole outfits as well, so you don't even have to do your own. Look at all these options. Look at all of these options. So that's what the avatar creator looks like, and apparently they're going to be adding these avatars to Full Bowling, which is coming soon, and Synth Riders, which, you know, wasn't shown at the showcase either. So let's quickly end this on some free titles you guys can enjoy right now. Alien Isolation is free on the Epic Games Store, and there is a virtual reality mod for this game. So if you've not played this, if you're new to VR, this is a seriously intense survival title with this mod, and it's one of the greats. People absolutely love this. Just be warned, it is very, very intense. But this is free right now, so, you know, get the mod, get the game, and enjoy. And also, Grapple Tournament is going to be free this weekend until Monday on Steam. This is a multiplayer shooter that has a grappling mechanic, and it's such a good game. There are many advocates for this. It's super fun, super fast paced. You know, the swinging around and shooting just doesn't get old. So head to Steam, download that if you want something new and interesting to play this weekend that isn't going to cost you anything. So that's it from me today, guys. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. We checked out some features of version 28, working well, working not so well, new avatar system, new games, what the future of VR looks like, straight from the horse's mouth of Carmack and Bosworth. So that's it from me this week. So please subscribe to the channel. Join me next time. Happy gaming, guys. Good day.